Hello, welcome to the Wedding Reporter podcast. Today we have a really cool guest. It's Sara Margulis from Honeyfund. She is the co-founder and CEO. Drawing from her background in digital marketing and a love of travel, Sara started Honeyfund in 2006. As CEO of the popular Honeymoon registry service, Sara is ushering the company into its next phase as a lifelong funding site where couples can receive the support of friends and family for all of life's milestones and mishaps. Honeyfund's mission is to make the honeymoon happen for all couples as a way to lay the foundation for a successful marriage. And Sara's winning appearance on Shark Tank in 2014 and partnership with Kevin O'Leary, who is Mr. Wonderful, propelled her into regional, national, and international media. She's sought as an expert on a variety of topics, including weddings and honeymoons, crowdfunding, personal finance, entrepreneurship, and women in business. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you so much for having me, Alyssa. It's so nice to meet you.
Yeah, of course. I'm so glad that we were able to connect. And yeah, I remember watching you on Shark Tank back in 2014. And so
Wow.
This is just like a really fun full circle moment. But let's dive into it. Tell us about your journey before Honeyfund and maybe before it all started.
Yeah, I have such a funny sort of non-linear career path. I was graduated high school with really good grades in like math and science, and I had engineering scholarships, and I went to college, and I wasn't really imagining myself doing engineering or science or math. And I had this love of music, so I ended up getting a music major in college.
Oh, wow.
And then after graduation was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do with this for a career. So I just started off an entry level receptionist job. I worked my way into marketing, and I absolutely loved marketing. I found the creativity and the sort of numbers sides of marketing really suited my mind and what I enjoyed. So I ended up getting an MBA in marketing before starting Honeyfund. And then when I met
Wow.
my fiance at the time, he had a software engineering background, and with my marketing
Okay.
skills, that was kind of how we
Oh,
ended up
yeah, that's a
starting
great
Honeyfund.
match.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's like when two powers combine, you can
Yeah,
be unstoppable with that sort of thing. That's really cool.
for sure.
So tell us, for listeners who may not know what Honeyfund is, maybe
Yeah.
walk us through
Yeah.
like what it is, how the concept came to be, and like what drove you to even invent this.
Yeah. So Honeyfund is essentially a gift registry for couples getting married who don't need more household items, but they are really into travel, or they don't really know what they need, and they want to give friends and family an opportunity to contribute to their honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2004, 2005, I was planning my own wedding and my honeymoon. We were looking for this dream trip to Fiji. We were both working full
Ooh,
time and totally stressed out and just wanted to get away from it all, like as far away as
yeah.
possible. And we were paying for our own wedding, so we didn't have a lot of money left over for the honeymoon that we dreamed of. We started looking for a honeymoon registry site, and at the time, there just wasn't really anything suitable out there. They were
Mm-hmm.
either really outdated, even for the web standards of 2005, or they were charging really high fees, like
Wow.
9%. And we just thought
No way.
that's
That's so
crazy.
high.
Yeah, these were the days of like PayPal, like where you could just send money
Right.
for free, So we just thought that's so silly. So we built our own makeshift honeymoon registry. Our friends and family went crazy over it. They gave us more than $5,000, and they raved about the
Amazing.
idea. They were like, "You guys have to build something like this for everyone." So that's why we started honeyfund.com.
That's so cool. I love that. And that's just from personal experience. It's like
Hmm.
you had the need yourselves and you created it out of your own need. And
Yeah.
so you're like, why not do it for other people? So I think that's like a great way to invent something, is when there is that need already.
Yeah,
So that's so
exactly.
cool. All right. So you have Honey Fun. You developed it after you decided that you needed this. And at what point in your business with Honey Fun did you decide to go on Shark Tank, and how did that opportunity even come about?
That was such a random opportunity that actually came to us. We were
Wow.
just chugging along in 2012. We had done about 200 million in gifts for our couples at that point, and we
Wow.
got an email from a casting person that worked at Shark Tank, and they were like, "Hey, we heard
Wow.
about you guys. Somebody on our crew told us that they gave a gift to a honey fund recently, and we thought you guys would be great for the show. Do you want to apply?" And so we did. At first I was very skeptical. I really don't like reality television. I'm probably in the minority on this, but I don't think it's good for society.
Yeah.
And so, I was like, oh, I don't know. But once we learned more about the show and obviously understood that it's a very unique kind of reality show and that businesses really
Right.
are receiving an investment, and um, the opportunity for us to get the word out about Honey Fund. I mean, there's like 7 million viewers every Friday night on Shark
Yeah.
Tank. It was like an incredible opportunity we couldn't pass up. So we applied, we got accepted. We
Wow.
filmed in 2013, and we ended up with an investment from Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. And yeah,
Amazing.
it was an amazing experience. Like the scariest thing I've ever
Yeah.
done, even after giving birth 2 times with no drugs. That's the scariest thing I've
Wow.
ever done.
Yeah.
But ultimately it was such a great outcome.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. I know I recently just rewatched the clip of it and it's like the sharks were fighting. Like
Yeah.
you had like multiple offers on the table here. And so in that moment, how did you decide that going with
hmm
Mr.
hmm
Wonderful that was the route you wanted to take? Because I feel like just watching the show, he's the shark that you're like, you got to watch out for the deals that he's making with you and
Yeah.
really think about that. So,
Yeah.
so how did you guys just decide on him?
Yeah, it was a really tough decision. They don't show obviously everything that happens in the tank in the edited down clip that
Right.
goes on the show, but we actually stepped out of the tank and like called
Oh,
our phone a friend to like talk through it. But
wow.
Robert and Barbara were kind of fighting over an equity stake, and Robert wanted way too much equity. He was actually our
Hmm.
first choice shark walking in,
Okay.
but he wanted too much equity, and we had a line in the sand. And I think it was
Hmm.
like 20% or something, and he was pushing for 25, 30. But
Right.
Kevin was offering us a deal that was no equity. It was just a
Right.
loan with a 3 times payback. And that, I think, in the end, because we weren't willing to give up 25% equity and we just liked the terms on that, we felt like for a Kevin deal, that was actually really good terms. And I think I even said
Hmm.
that, like, well, that's a really good deal because Mark Cuban even piped up and said, this is Kevin doesn't usually offer this good of a deal.
Right.
so
Yeah.
so we went ahead and took it, and it's been amazing. Kevin is really truly a wonderful partner. He is still an active participant in Honey Fund.
Very cool.
During COVID, he helped us raise more money through equity crowdfunding through a
Wow.
platform called Start Engine that I highly recommend for companies looking to raise from like small individual donors versus a big like VC firm.
Hmm.
And yeah, he just has been awesome. I just was with him last month in Miami Beach
That's
for
awesome.
his annual symposium.
That's so cool. I love that. I mean, that was back in 2014, and you guys are still working
hmm
together and still
hmm
so supportive of each other, and he's still pouring into your business. And so
Yeah.
that's such a cool thing that, it's been a long-lasting relationship with you
Yeah.
guys. So,
And he
yeah.
really is very authentic. He really cares about
Mhm.
the entrepreneurs and the companies that he's involved with. He's, accessible. A lot of companies that have paired up with some other sharks that I've met have really said like Kevin is really unique in that way.
Mhm.
He's very involved.
Yeah, that's so great. And I feel like I don't know if it started with you or maybe it was the Wicked Good Cupcakes, I think was the name of it, the other business he invested in, where he
Yeah.
kind of started going on this like wedding venture of
Yeah.
like investing in wedding businesses, which I
Yeah.
thought was so cool that he was like the guy to do
Yeah.
that, especially with his wine background and everything, so it was
Yeah.
cool to kind of just like see you guys as like a pillar in that journey
Hmm.
for his portfolio as well too.
Yeah. And it's such a good strategy for him because when he gets into a vertical like that, then he'll talk about it more on the show. So the next time a wedding
Hmm.
related company comes in, he's like, well, I'm invested in Honey Fund and Wicked Good
Right.
Cupcakes. And so then he has an opportunity to continue to talk about the other businesses, which just brings more members to our site. So he's
Oh
really
yeah.
brilliant in that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's really cool. I love that so much. Um, all right. So you guys went on Shark Tank in 2014. After you guys went on, what was the response like? Was it just
Hmm.
like, whoa, my site is going to crash? Or was it like, what were your
Yeah.
expectations
Yeah.
versus what actually happened after the show?
Yeah. So it was so much better than we could have hoped for.
Wow.
Yes, on the day of the airing, our site did crash.
No
We thought we
way.
had everything prepared so that it wouldn't,
Wow.
but it still did, which was like a good problem to have, right?
Oh, totally.
Because it
Yeah.
just meant tons of traffic. But over the 3 years after the show, our membership kept growing and our gifting volume doubled in those 3 years.
Wow.
And um, it also brought opportunities like a partnership with Target to power honeymoon gifting for Target Wedding
Amazing.
Registry.
Wow.
We're now the official honeymoon registry partner for Hilton hotels globally,
Awesome.
and do tons of partnership with them on making sure that couples understand all the benefits of having their wedding or honeymoon with Hilton.
Hmm.
And so it's just, yeah, it just brought us up to another level in terms of the brand credibility, how our company is viewed by these big travel partners and wedding
Hmm.
related partners.
Oh,
So it was
yeah.
so much, so much more than we could have dreamed.
That's so cool. So, is Kevin and his company kind of like involved in helping you guys create those partnerships, or was it like pretty heavy at first, or like how has that kind of evolved?
Yeah, what I've found is that, Kevin talks to and sees a lot of powerful people all the time.
Hmm.
And so all he has to do is mention your name and the next thing you know, you're getting a phone call from, the head of wedding registry at Target or whatever it is.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's been really great. But even if he hasn't been directly influencing the partnership, just the fact that he backs us is
Oh,
credibility
yeah.
for any partnership. Yeah.
Definitely. That's so cool. So, let's talk about Honey Fun today. So,
Mhm.
I know the industry has evolved so much
Oh
since
my
you guys
gosh.
started. It's just wild. I feel like it's hard to keep up just from year to year of what couples are wanting and where the market's going and everything. So, how has it evolved since you
Mm.
started it versus when you were on Shark Tank versus now?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that because it's been such a wild ride. Honeyfund launched in 2006, the same year as Twitter. So
Wow, that's
that's one of my claim
incredible.
to fames that we've
Wow.
outlasted Twitter.
Yes. I know, and it's like you're still the owner's like
Yeah.
CEO, like, and Twitter's gone through many phases.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
bravo on sticking
But I
it
mean,
out.
there was no real like traction around social media when we first launched. I mean, Twitter launched
Right.
the same year. Facebook was like only on college campuses. There was no Instagram or WhatsApp or any of that. Like there were no smartphones. What the year that we launched
Mhm.
Honeyfund, those came on the scene more in 2007, and from there, um, and everything just has changed so much since we started. But what hasn't changed is the fact that couples are already living together. They already have a lot of the
Mhm.
stuff they need. And travel has just become more and more desirable. I think Instagram was a big fuel behind that. People want to take a picture in their beautiful destination and post it on Instagram, and
Oh,
that they
totally.
see people traveling and it just makes travel so much more desirable. And then the pandemic really like reinforced that like life is short and being stuck at home, it was like, where are we going to go? Like the dreaming of that trip was getting people through these years of like
Mhm.
quarantine. And it was, fast forward to now, we have couples who are taking honeymoons even though they got married 3 years ago. We have couples
Right.
who value travel so much more. We have couples who aren't willing to spend as much on one big day because they wanna put the money toward that experience that they'll never forget. That trip to Italy, that trip to Japan or Croatia or whatever. People are getting a lot more imaginative about their destinations.
Mhm.
So it's it's a wonderful trend, and the reason why is that our research shows that couples who take a honeymoon and continue to travel together are more likely to be happily married more than a decade later.
Oh, I love that.
And when
That's
I know it
really
gives me
cool.
goosebumps every time I say it.
Yeah.
When we found that out, it was like this light bulb, like, we've been helping couples in a way we never realized all these
Yeah.
years, and now we can actually put our intention toward that and make it our mission to get all
Mhm.
couples on their honeymoon, whether they are already married or not. We want couples to have to take their honeymoon. And so we actually recently found a couple on Honeyfund who had used the money for like an immigrant visa for one of the partners. And
Wow.
because of all the headache of the bureaucracy of, immigration, they
Mhm.
weren't able to take a honeymoon. So we actually just set them up with a all-inclusive honeymoon to Napa,
Oh my
that they're going to be
gosh,
taking
that's
in a couple months, just
amazing.
because we just couldn't deal with the fact that they didn't get to take their honeymoon.
Yeah, totally. Oh,
So that's
man.
what we're doing now, and it's so much fun, and it's so like rewarding to know that we're part of the solution to a problem that a lot of us have been through, which is divorce. I mean,
Mhm.
Honeyfund's co-founder and I divorced in 2019, and it was really
Mhm.
heartbreaking. And my kids
Sorry
had
to
to go
hear
through
that.
it. My business, all my teammates had to go through it when Josh has exited the business. And
Mhm.
so it's just that much more personally rewarding for me that we're able to be part of the solution.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, for sure. That's so special, and, like, hearing that stat, it's like, you totally have to integrate that into your business
Hmm.
because it
Yeah.
is so much more than getting money for a honeymoon. It's
Hmm.
like you said, creating that experience, creating those
Hmm.
connections to have a lifelong marriage and a marriage that lasts. And so
Hmm.
that's so special and so meaningful. And I'm sure that's a lot of your why and your purpose in what you do. So that's so
Definitely.
cool. Yeah, for sure. And like, even you saying like, you guys had to weather through COVID when no one
Hmm.
was traveling.
No,
I
we're
mean,
getting married.
that is like mad props to you
Yeah.
guys for
Thank you.
being able to get through that when like no one was even getting married, no one was traveling.
Hmm.
Um, but now, I mean, it was probably last year or 2 years ago where there was such a huge uptick in people
Hmm.
getting their passports because they had been
Yep.
pent up for so long that they were like, and like you said, have that sort of outlook on life of like, life is too short. I need to travel and go to these places that I want to go to with the people I love.
Hmm.
And so to be able to use your platform in order to get to those places after COVID, and to just like have that uptick in travel, I'm sure it was just like a wild ride for you guys during.
It was. It definitely was. And that was another time that Kevin was really there for us.
Mhm.
We, you know, thank God for the PPP program, the Paycheck
Oh,
Protection,
yeah.
and the emergency disaster loans. But we also went out to our community at that time. We had a 500,000 opted in emails from past couples and their wedding guests. And we said, hey guys, like we want to make Honey Fund about happily ever after. It's
Wow.
no longer just about a wedding gift. It's about
Mhm.
keeping couples traveling, being there for them throughout their hardships and with the help of their friends and family. Would you invest in our future? And we raised more than $1.5 million from
Wow.
Honeyfund's community, the Start Engine community, which is the platform that we used, and Kevin's community because he was the face of the raise.
Wow. That's incredible. So take us through that journey. So now Honey Fund is expanding. Like
Hmm.
it starts with honeymoons, Honey Fund, that's like the basis of everything.
Right.
Talk us through more of like you kind of mentioned other trips after you're
Hmm.
married and other things that you can kind of raise money for? Like,
Mhm.
what can couples use Honeyfund for beyond marriage?
Yeah, so today we have couples primarily using it for their wedding or an anniversary.
Okay,
This year we'll be rolling out additional functionality, so you could fund like a baby moon or a
cool.
second honeymoon or a missed honeymoon. So we're keeping it around that honeymoon style travel at first, and
Mm-hmm.
that's coming out later this year. And then ultimately you'll be able to use Honey Fund for anything that you come up against. So let's say you want to do a birthday trip, you could sort of reskin your page or set up a secondary honey fund for that. And all your friends and family are already connected to you through there from their wedding gifts.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easy for them to get an update about what's going on with your life. Or let's say one of you ends up in the hospital, unexpected accident or something.
Yeah,
Your
wow.
friends and family are already there for you. Nobody has to go run around creating a GoFundMe. It's already right there. So that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of the vision for the future of Honey Fund, that happily ever after is
Wow.
now involving the whole community. I mean, we all go to weddings and we sit in the pew, and the, minister officiant will say, do you promise to support this couple throughout their love-filled lives? And we all say, oh, yes, yes, we do. But like, what do we ever really do,
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah,
support them?
definitely.
And I
Yeah.
feel like this gives that inner circle of friends and family an opportunity to really be there for a couple, especially when they're going through something tough. Sometimes you just need that perspective to step away from the day to day, the pressure, and just kind of reconnect with each other one on one. And travel is just perfect for that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's so cool that it's going beyond that. And you're right. It's like, yeah, having the platform already set up and to be able to say, hey, I'm doing this big birthday thing, or hey, we want to raise money for a honeymoon. Like, if you're long distance and don't want to send us baby gear, like, you can send us somewhere instead. Like, I think expanding in that realm is so smart on you guys' part. And it's really cool. And I'm really excited to see what you guys do next. It's so awesome.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Yeah.
So grateful for your support.
Yeah, of course. Is there anything else that you want to share about Honey Fund?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to make sure your listeners understand that we're a fee-free platform, so
Yeah.
couples can receive the money. They don't get charged any fees. Wedding guests don't get charged any fees. We actually have an optional add-on donation at checkout for guests if they want to be part of our mission to help couples get on their honeymoons. The money that we receive through that program does go and fund some of these other initiatives that I talked about, helping couples get on their honeymoon if they couldn't do it. And
Very
we're really
cool.
here to put money in your pocket. Most of the wedding
Right.
industry is trying to get you to spend more than you're comfortable with, and like making you feel like, well, if you don't, get that extra more expensive dress or like pay for those, doves or whatever, you're gonna like feel like you did it wrong for the rest of your life, which is
Yeah.
just so silly. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So we really are all about like empowering couples to do their wedding on their own authentic budget, have money left over for day one of the marriage, and to use their honey fund to go on that dream honeymoon.
That's so cool. I love that. So, yes, if you're listening, definitely check out honeyfund.com. Follow them and set one up. It's super easy. You can like pick different little excursions that you can do or different things that you want to raise money for. That's easy for people, your wedding guests to just pick, hey, I want to send them on a scuba trip, or hey, I want to send them on this excursion. So, like, it's so cool. Definitely check it out if you're wanting to do this. And so, thank you so much for coming on. This has been so awesome to chat with you. I so appreciate it. So
Thank you,
good to meet you.
Alyssa. Yeah,
Have a
you as
good
well.
one.
And good luck with your podcast and everything. I appreciate what
Yay.
you're doing.
Thanks so much. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Wedding Reporter podcast. I hope you learned a little bit and had fun today. To find more resources and podcast episodes, visit NashvilleBrideGuide.com for more information. And as always, click the subscribe button and leave us a review. Until next time, I'm Alyssa DeChico, signing off.